The gentle morning sun filtered through the lush green canopy, casting shimmers of golden light across the peaceful little courtyard. After preparing a meticulous breakfast filled with love for Hai, Tieu San did not hesitate to dedicate the rest of her precious day to visiting and talking with his mother. The small house, usually so quiet, suddenly felt warmer and closer than ever thanks to the presence of the gentle-faced girl. In that small but immaculate living room, two women from different generations sat side by side, opening their hearts to share poignant moments about the fragmented past of their family. In the quiet atmosphere filled with the faint aroma of warm tea, Hai's mother could not contain her emotions as the painful memories of the past came rushing back. She choked up recalling the ultimate betrayal of her husband, the man she once shared a bed with, who ruthlessly turned his back on her and abandoned her while she was still pregnant. Tears rolled down the poor mother's thin cheeks, carrying all the resentment and grief she had endured alone through her lonely, bitter youth. Deeply understanding that pain through her own life experiences, having been abandoned by her own biological mother in her childhood, Tieu San tenderly took the old woman and Apos' frail hands in hers. The profound empathy between two wounded souls became an invisible bridge, allowing Tieu San to offer heartfelt comfort. She managed to soothe the long-standing resentment in the old mother and Apos' heart, easing her sorrow and helping her cherish the peace and happiness of her present life. Not stopping there, with her inherent tact and wisdom, Tieu San gently shared Hai and Apos' deepest thoughts over the past years. She explained that although Hai had not actively sought out his biological father because he needed more time to find emotional balance, deep down, there was no longer any room for resentment or blame. Instead, Hai had grown up with profound, forgiving, and mature thoughts in the face of life and Apos' storms. The cozy reunion lunch that followed filled the room with laughter and chatter. It was not just an ordinary meal, but the clearest testament to how Tieu San and Apos' love and sincerity were healing the vast voids left in the hearts of both Hai and his mother. However, those brief and tender moments of peace did not last long. A major turning point from the distant past was suddenly unearthed, revealing a shocking truth that none of them could have anticipated. As the late afternoon sun began to set, painting the sky in solitary shades of purple and indigo, Hai returned to his usual work at the woodwork workshop behind the house. Seeing this, Tieu San also stayed to help him clean, organize, and sort through the old, dusty accounting records from his early days of starting the business, which had been sitting in a dark corner of the storage room. The warehouse, filled with the scent of decaying wood and the dust of time, stood like a historical witness to the ups and downs of a person and Apos' life. While reaching up to lift a crude, heavily dusted wooden box deep inside a large cabinet, Tieu San accidentally dropped a small drawer that had been secretively designed underneath. From the narrow gap of the drawer that popped open from the impact, a yellowed envelope with decayed corners gently fell to the ground. The surface of the faded envelope bore no specific information or address of either the sender or the recipient. It only contained a single line of handwritten black ink, faded over time, dedicated to the soul of an unborn child and the wife the writer regretted losing. A woman and Apos' keen intuition told Tieu San that something was wrong, that a shocking secret lay hidden within those fragile pages. She stood frozen, hesitating for a long time between opening it or putting it away. Ultimately, out of absolute respect for the man she loved, Tieu San chose not to hide anything. She gathered her courage and brought the letter directly to Hai while he was sitting in his office. Under the faint, lonely yellow light of the desk lamp in the workshop office, Hai took the letter from Tieu San and slowly, carefully peeled back the envelope that had grown brittle with age. The moment the first lines appeared before his eyes, his entire body froze. The hand holding the paper trembled uncontrollably, and his usually firm, square face turned pale with horror. Deeply worried, Tieu San gently sat on the chair beside him, reading along with him every painful, agonizing line penned by the writer decades ago. As it turned out, the curtain of the past did not conceal a dark, ruthless, and heartless truth like the one his mother and he had imagined and endured for so many years. Years ago, that tragic father had never willingly abandoned his wife and son to chase wealth and fame as the rumor suggested. Driven by narrow prejudice and ultimate selfishness, the paternal uncle had deliberately staged a cruel and sophisticated charade to tear their family apart. He had confronted Hai and Apos, S. father, and lied, telling him that his mother was a heartless woman who had aborted the pregnancy on her own, then stolen all their savings to run away with another wealthy man to a remote area. The ultimate pain and despair of believing he was betrayed by the woman he loved most caused the father to fall gravely ill and become bedridden for a long time. His spirit completely collapsed, and he finally resigned to his fate, accepting an arranged, loveless marriage with his current wife just to fulfill his filial duty to his parents. Yet, his life and Apos' tragedy did not end there. Many years later, upon accidentally discovering that he had been deceived by his own uncle for so long, the father nearly lost his mind. He frantically set out to search for Hai and his mother across the country. During that hopeless search, he quietly sent a small amount of capital through a trusted close friend to support Hai's mother and Apos' life. This was the exact money she had always assumed came from a faceless benefactor, which helped her build the woodwork workshop business today. Knowing the truth that her husband was still deeply attached to and longing for his ex-wife and child, the current wife, driven by selfishness, jealousy, and a vague fear that her own children's inheritance and rights would be threatened, decided to use the most ruthless schemes to sabotage the search. She secretly paid people to block all information and hide every lead related to her husband and Apos' search. This caused the father to completely lose track of Hai and his mother, forcing him to live in endless torment, pain, and regret for the rest of his life, firmly believing that his biological child no longer existed in this world. As Hai read deeper into the final lines of the time-worn, dust-covered letter, where his wretched father used the last of his failing strength to recall fragmented memories of his old hometown, his family lineage, and specifically the detail of a large, long scar on his left arm left by a horrific lumber cave-in years ago, his entire body froze as if an electric current shot straight down his spine. His mind reeled, his chest heaved violently, and he suddenly bolted up from his desk, sending the wooden chair crashing against the wall with a hollow thud in the silence of the late office. Those details, those identifying marks, and those painful memories aligned with an uncanny, chilling precision with Mr. Trung, the veteran partner and respected elder in the timber industry whom Hai had crossed paths with, befriended, and subsequently helped with all his heart, saving the old man from total bankruptcy during a fierce market crisis some time ago. Standing right beside him and witnessing the stark change in her lover's face and his horrified expression, Tieu San's mind also raced at full capacity to connect and piece together every event and timeline from the past until now, before a shocking hypothesis materialized so vividly in her mind that tears uncontrollably welled up and streamed down her delicate cheeks. Her voice trembled, choking through her sobs as she cried out, and quote, "Oh, on high, as it turns out, the destiny of life had already arranged for you two to meet and bond long ago. Mr. Trung, the man you have respected and helped all this time, is your own biological father in the flesh, not some stranger in this world." End quote. Without hesitating for another second, Hai carefully folded the letter, harboring the shock, bewilderment, and tens of thousands of unanswered questions in his heart as he rushed home to find his mother to verify the entire matter. The moment she caught sight of the elegant yet deeply familiar handwriting that had been absent for decades now appearing on the yellowed paper, Hai's mother felt as though a bolt of lightning had struck her ears. She stood frozen for a few seconds before collapsing, burying her thin, wrinkled face in her hands and weeping bitterly. The choked, suffocating cries accumulated over half a lifetime, finally breaking free into a torrent of tears. It turned out that all this time, she had directed her resentment toward the wrong person. The man she had cursed, the one she thought was a heartless betrayer evading his responsibility as a father and a husband, was actually a pitiful victim, a helpless pawn in a cruel and insidious plot orchestrated by his own paternal relatives. The revelation of this raw and agonizing truth caused the fortress of prejudice, full of resentment and hatred that had dominated Hai's heart for so long, to completely crumble into pieces, giving way to an unspeakable pity and a profound empathy for the tragic, ironic, and unfortunate fate of the man who gave him life. The destiny of this life truly holds incredibly miraculous and mysterious wonders. It never ruthlessly cuts off the sacred bond of motherhood or blood relations between people, but instead merely chooses to create trials and turbulent rapids to test human hearts, their capacity for forgiveness, and their perseverance. Hai and Apo's genuine kindness, selfless filial piety, and detached help for Mr. Trung during those past stormy days had now borne sweet fruit, becoming the most deserving reward, an invisible yet unbreakable thread of fate pulling two people of the same blood and the same pain closer together, bringing them back to one another after so many years of being lost. The scene of this chapter drew to a close in a deeply emotional, sacred atmosphere, yet one that simultaneously sparked warm new glimmers of hope for a bright future ahead. Standing in the middle of the room, Hai tightly held the hands of his mother and Tieu San in his large, strong hands. His gaze at this moment had completely cast away the coldness, sternness, and traces of resentment from the old days, replaced instead by the resolve, steadiness, and fortitude of a mature man who had weathered life and Apo's storms. He spoke up, deciding that he and Tieu San would proactively arrange an official, face-to-face meeting with Mr. Trung to untangle every knot and misunderstanding from the past, bravely confronting the selfish, scheming individuals from years ago to reclaim the justice and dignity that belonged to them, and to fulfill the long-shattered wish of a family reunion. And throughout that arduous, challenging journey to find justice and reclaim their sacred, biological bonds, Tieu San would always be there, never taking a step away, continuing to be his strongest anchor and greatest emotional support to help him carry the weight, soothe the pain, and heal every emotional wound for both Hai and his mother.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình tiếp tục đưa đến với mọi người video về câu chuyện của Tiểu San và Hải nha mọi người thân mến. Thì bây giờ Tiểu San và Hải vẫn đang trong quá trình mà tìm hiểu về cha ruột của mình thông qua lời của mẹ của Hải. Thì ở trước đó như mọi người cũng đã biết thì mẹ của Hải bây giờ sau tận 30 năm bà mới bắt đầu tiết lộ rằng là ngày xưa ba anh đã bỏ mẹ con anh đi như thế nào. Thực ra thì lúc đấy hai người vẫn chưa thực sự là vợ chồng, chỉ là hai người yêu nhau và mẹ Hải bị bỏ rơi khi đã có thai của Hải thôi. Nhưng hôm nay thì Tiểu San đã phanh phui một bí mật. Liệu diễn biến tiếp theo sẽ ra sao, câu chuyện tiếp theo sẽ như thế nào, mình mời mọi người đón xem những video tiếp theo ở trên kênh của mình để có thể biết thêm chi tiết câu chuyện nhé. Tạm biệt mọi người, hẹn gặp lại mọi người trong những video sau.